Christians, I highly recommend the book Defying Jihad by Esther Ahmad. It is thrilling, it's inspiring, and it will teach you a lot about Muslim culture. So, it's the true story of a girl who grew up in Pakistan, and she was very devoted to Islam, so much so that she ended up getting involved with an extremist group and she had volunteered to be a terrorist. Well, Jesus ended up revealing himself to her, and I don't want to give too many spoilers, but it's a great story, and it will give you insights into the mentality of extremists, why they think the way that they do. It'll also give you insight into how a lot of Muslims view Christians and why they view Christians in a negative light. Another thing this book does is, in addition to teaching you about Islam, it also shows some of the superstitions that are involved with Islam. So, and these are often regional. So there are things that are not exactly part of the religion, but they get incorporated into the religion. So this is called like folk Islam. So there's a lot of superstitious beliefs that end up coinciding with the religion. And so this book gives you great insight into some of those things. And it also shows you how Jesus can work in spite of religious barriers. So I think this is something Christians should all learn about, how God is working in the world. He's working so powerfully among Muslims. And despite all of these barriers erected by Islam, God is able to get in contact with people. And so this girl is just one example, but God is touching many people who are born into Muslim families. And so this book is great for that. It's also good writing. The writing is good. It has good character development. It also highlights the persecution that Christians in Pakistan experience. So I found that very valuable. You know, Pakistan is one of the places where it is very hard to be a Christian. And this book will just make you really compassionate toward Christians who live in these regions. You know, sometimes their churches are burned down. They are often in great danger. Even when they're not in danger for their lives, they still suffer a lot of societal rejection for being Christians. So you'll really come to understand the dynamics of that as you read this book. And another thing that I liked about it is that it shows some of the problems in Islam, problems in the Quran. And the way that it does that is, without giving too many spoilers, when the author turns to Jesus and becomes a Christian, she ends up on trial in her village. And so these religious leaders in her village are coming to challenge her. Well, she knew the Quran so well that she often was able to respond to their challenges by using the Quran. And so she exposes some of the contradictions within the religion itself. And so it's very good. She also shows how the God as described in Islam is very different from God as described in the Bible, and how often Muslims have been taught and they have learned to react with to challenges with fear and hatred and anger. Now, not all Muslims are like that. And even the author is careful to say, look, this is not the way that all Muslims are. There are many, wonderful Muslims in the world. And if you want a perspective on that, I spent 10 years living in Muslim majority countries, and I wrote a book called Bridges of Love and Understanding: How to Bring the Message of Jesus to Muslims and Everyone Else Too. And so if you want a more positive view of Muslim culture, you can read my book. It's available on Amazon at the link in the description to this video. And I kind of highlight some of the more positive things about Muslim faith and devotion. So that's a good balance to this book. And the author also, shows some of the ways that God is working with miracles, and the things that God provided as she went on in her journey. So overall, I think, Christians, you're gonna love this book. And so yeah, it'll benefit you in many ways. It'll entertain you, and you'll see a great picture of what God is doing in the world among Muslims. So hope you get it. It's Defying Jihad, Esther Ahmad. You can get it in the link that's in the description of this video. Take care and God bless you. His own self for